Okay, do you guys remember your very first earthquake experience?
Yeah. That was because, we're from the UK. Like, it is literally the safest place on earth. Like,
I was about to say, you guys don't get earthquakes, right?
Yeah. No, we're like the furthest away from like any fault line of like any country.
No, like we're like natural disasters in the UK is like non-existent.
It's like running out of tea.
England is so fucking safe. You'd have to try really hard to get yourself killed in England by nature.
Yeah, you really do have to go out of your way.
Because Australia, we don't have earthquakes at all. Or any,
but everything else would just kill you.
But we have, bushfires and stuff like that. And of course, our animals are just out for blood. But you guys don't even have dangerous animals, right?
No, we don't.
Right?
That's why I'm convinced there's so many like famous British explorers, because they must have been so fucking bored of the UK. Like, oh, it's another fucking squirrel. Who'd have thought?
Like it's a bigger squirrel. Like talking to Americans and Canadians who go camping and they have to worry about bears and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember going camping in England and I'm just like, oh yeah, like I guess we have to worry about deers. I guess deers can be dangerous. And
I feel like the biggest worry in the UK is how much alcohol do I bring? Like how much alcohol is the right amount of alcohol?
How much alcohol and toilet paper do I bring?
That's always the worry. It's like I got to carry 2 liters of water, 10 liters of alcohol. So we got to like try and balance this out somehow.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember my very first earthquake experience wasn't in Japan. It was actually in America during AX.
Oh yeah.
Last year.
AX 28. Well, not last year now.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is last year.
Last year.
Last year's AX. So 2019 AX. And I remember.
That was your first one?
Yeah, that was my very first one.
Really?
Well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to explain, when we were at AX last year, we went through a magnitude. Is it 7 earthquake?
It was 6 or 7.
But it was far away. So it wasn't awful, but it was still, I mean, we were...
It still is the strongest earthquake I've been in, even after moving to Japan.
Yeah.
And I remember I was on like the 64th floor or something. And it was like such a humbling experience because at first I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Because I remember standing up and I felt a bit dizzy. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? Am I just like really fatigued? Am I hungover? What's going on? So I go up to the window, right? Just imagine you're going up to the window on the 64th floor of a skyscraper, and then you look down, and then you see the fucking building just shift like that. And it was just like this. I immediately, I've never felt vertigo so fast, and I immediately just pinned myself against the wall, just being like, shit, this is an earthquake.
I'm
This is a
surprised
fucking
you had the
earthquake.
balls to go towards a window.
Because I didn't know it was an earthquake. I just thought I was just dizzy or drunk or something.
I mean, the first one, because there was like 3 that weekend, was
no, there's 2.
It was in the same day, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the first one, I was in the elevator while it was happening.
My God.
And the elevator was shaking a lot more than I thought it should have been shaking.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure there's a Japanese woman in there who was from one of the stands.
Yeah.
And she looked fucking terrified.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, we're nearly near the bottom. I'm sure it'll be fine. We're like 10 floors. I'm sure we got this. But then the second one was, I was with you.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
You want to tell that story?
You should tell.
Okay. So the second earthquake that happened, I think it was only maybe a couple of hours after, wasn't it?
Yeah. I
I
think it was
literally
like
just rushed to your hotel room because I was busy.
That's right.
it was like that night.
Yeah, it was you, me, Aki, and our friend Nabi, and we were just chilling in our hotel room. We were just talking about what we were going to do that night because I think it was
We were going to a party.
We were going to go to a party,
Yeah.
and so we were just chilling before the party started. And the second earthquake comes through, and I think it was stronger than the first one, wasn't it?
I think so.
Something like that. But either way, very strong, like at least magnitude 6 from what I remember.
I think it was 7.1 that earthquake.
I think that was the 7, wasn't it? Yeah. And of course it was an earthquake. I'm used to it. Obviously, everybody else wasn't.
Yeah.
So we quickly ran out, and we were at the very, very top. I think it was like the 68th or 69th floor or something of that hotel. And and even amidst all the panic, Connor and my friend Nabi, they were eating
I was eating Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A nuggets. And Connor and Nabi just kind of looked at each other and went, well, if I'm going to die, might as well finish off these nuggets.
like everyone was panicking. I remember there was literally that like stereotypical American family. It was one like white guy with like 3 daughters. Like, get down to the floor, get down to the bottom floor, daughters. I'm gonna direct you. And I'm there with like my nuggets walking past him slowly. Like, I mean, it's gonna be fine. I got about go on.
If I'm gonna die, at least I'm gonna die with nugs in my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
we were like rushing down the stairs. We got like 20 floors down. And I was like, I'm not. You know what? I don't want to do any more physical exercise. I think I've done enough. So I did a move which is probably not a pro gamer move. I was like, you know what? The shaking stopped like 2 minutes ago. I'm gonna get the elevator. There's 50 more floors, and I would rather die, literally, than get these stairs. And I went to the elevator, but the weird configuration of this hotel, you had to go back to the top.
Yeah,
and
to
then
go
back
down again, yeah.
So that means then I was like, all right, well, the elevators are still working. They should have been stopped. They were still working. So I was like, okay. So I go back from the 50th floor, which I just walked down from the 70th to the 50th. I walked all the way down, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go back up to the 70th floor. I go to get the elevator to go all the way down, and they're blocking it off.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't go until it's safe. And I'm like, fuck.
Meanwhile, our other friend was just like, fuck it, I'm going to walk
they
all the way
sprinted
down.
the
He
way down.
sprinted all the way down. And he's just waiting at the bottom, and he calls me. He's like,
Where are you?
Are you guys alive?
Yeah, because I convinced them. I'm like, listen, guys, you guys can keep walking. I'm getting
Yeah.
the elevator. And then they were like, oh, okay, we'll come.
No, I came with you. I remember.
you came
I was like, well, great, we're back. I guess we ran down 20 floors for no reason.
It was so scary though, because I remember I wasn't worried because, you know, the doors were closing and opening on their
Yeah.
own. I thought, that's
Yeah.
okay. I can deal with that. What I didn't anticipate was when I looked out the building, I could literally see the building opposite us. We
Yeah.
were going like this.
Yeah, yeah,
We were,
yeah.
parallaxing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's not right.
Like buildings shouldn't do that. No, because I remember it was like, to me, it was a really humbling experience. Just at that moment, I was like, my life is not in my own hands.
Yeah.
Like if this building collapses,
Yeah.
there is literally nothing I can do. Because you know when you feel like something bad happens, you feel like you have some kind of control. Like you might see a car coming and you think, you know, maybe I can jump out of the way of this. There was like, if the building was just not
the building
designed.
falls.
Like logically, I knew this building was designed to withstand earthquakes, but in my heart, I was like, okay, at this moment, I'm just putting my faith in the engineers and the builders that they've done their job fucking correctly. Because if they haven't, I'm dead,
Yeah,
and there's
rip.
literally nothing I can do about it. And I guess that was like a first for me. You know, I'd never been in that kind of situation where I had just my life was in the hands of like completely some other external.
To be fair, I've experienced a lot of earthquakes in my life, but being on the 69th, 17th floor was definitely
Yeah.
a first for me.
Yeah.
You know, I've been on, I've been in apartment buildings that are like 10, 20 floors high, and that was still scary because, again, the whole thing is shaking. I have to keep telling myself, it's good that it's shaking. It's
Yeah.
good that it's shaking. But my first, I think the scariest earthquake experience I had was, it was in Japan, obviously, and it was up north where my grandma lives.
Right.
And it was where, the giant earthquake of 2011 hit, essentially.
Yeah.
So that place is like a hot spot for massive earthquakes. And I was there. I was in some kind of like DVD rental place. It was like a really old DVD rental place near there with my sister. And suddenly, I think it was like in magnitude 7.5 or something like that.
Jeez,
really,
right.
really big. It was so big, in fact, that all of the DVDs and books on the shelves just flew out.
Oh wow.
And and I had to like grab my sister's hand and just fucking get the hell out of there.
Wow.
But we couldn't go all the way out because the shop assistant was like, "Don't go out into the street because if a shit falls, then you're dead."
Yeah.
So we had to kind of stand in the door frame of the shop and just kind of wait for it to settle down. And yeah, that was definitely a lot scarier because I thought being on a building was scary.
Right.
Being on the ground floor, like
Yeah.
on the street in
Must be
something that
scary.
big,
Yeah,
is really scary.
Yeah, because people were running out, and I thought that's kind of dumb because
Yeah.
the building's really safe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
running out, you don't know what could
could fall on you.
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
If a traffic light or a street light
Yeah.
falls on you, then
We
I
all
think
know
it's that sense of control, that you
Yeah, yeah.
think you have, even though statistically you are actually safer in the building.
Yeah, the
itself.
buildings are designed, at least the newer ones, I think. That was a really big hotel, and they're mainly designed for like 13 magnitude earthquakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty fucking sturdy.